Figure out how to rebound from that last one.
Whenever you're ready, you can start.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, so not creeping on you, but glad to see that you're doing well. You're the one that put yourself.
Is yours the sesh?
No, you're the one.
It is.
No, that's good, but you're the one that put yourself on your own ad. So again, I'm a consumer of the brand, and I happen to see it. But if you ever need a fat guy as a model, I put on some weight after I retired. So if you need a fat guy sporting Savage Tac,
Hey,
let me know.
big is beautiful.
Hey, Team G Code, it's your friendly neighborhood Chief Operating Officer, Greg Jones, hosting another episode of the Range 5 podcast, and I'm happy to be talking with Kevin Ullman today. Kevin, much like our boss, Scott Evans, is a former Marine business owner who's in the local area, Wilmington. Kevin, welcome. Thanks for coming up, and really look forward to doing some business with you. Can you give us a basic intro? Like, how are you in Wilmington? Where are you from? How did you get to Wilmington? Time in the Marine Corps, just a basic rundown of who you are and what you do.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. Checking out your facilities, pretty awesome. Like I said, I'm a former Marine. I'm originally from Florida. My dad was in the Navy, so we moved all around. Finished in high school in here in North Carolina. Started college, and just found out real quick it wasn't my thing. So I decided I'm gonna go join the military. When I came back home and told my parents I'm gonna join the military, the Marine Corps, they're like, why don't you join the Navy? I was like, ain't nothing happening in the Navy. I'm trying to go get something, but yeah, so joined the Marine Corps, 2nd Battalion, 8th Marines, 8 years in there, and then got out, went to the private sector of things, and I did private security from end of 2011 up till about July 2020, and then during that time, the Lance Corporal Underground is still on the civilian side. So you're constantly hearing rumors of the program's going to go away and this and that. So it kind of put a scare in me. I was like, man, what am I going to do? I don't want to go back into the Marine Corps. So I was like, I'll start a something no one else is doing. Wink, wink, apparel brand, So I started Vet Life, and my idea with Vet Life at the time was, I want to kind of encompass all the military branches, make something for each person, this and that. And that's what I started doing. And we did get a lot of people like, hey, we like your designs, but I'm not a vet. Am I going to be like stolen valor if I wear something that says Vet Life or whatever? I'm like, no, we're a lifestyle brand, this and that. But he really got me thinking, about that and the name change. So that's how we kind of transitioned to Savage Tacticians, just so we didn't paint ourselves in a corner. But yeah, been going strong with that. Started that September 2014, opened the doors in 2015, and been rock and rolling ever since.
Yeah, that's funny on how you decided to get in the Marine Corps. My dad was in the Air Force, and I was talking about getting in the Marine Corps, and he's like, son, he was a C-141, like a big bird pilot, and he was like, son, I've dropped those people off in some of the nastiest places in the world. You don't want to do that. And I was like, yeah, I do. So parents, take it from Kevin and I. If you don't want your kids to join the Marine Corps, don't tell them how horrible it's going to be, because we may just sign up. So yeah, Savage Tacticians. Obviously, I'm sporting the shirt. Brought some other shirts in. It's a killer design. What's behind the name Savage Tacticians, other than it's a cool name?
Yeah. So at the time, I had a buddy that was helping me out with this. I was downrange a lot, and we were kicking the idea around, hey, doing a rebranding, because of the reasons I mentioned. And we just kind of were looking around, and we wanted something that kind of stood out, and then that fit the market. So obviously, savage, like a force of nature, and then tactician. Anyone technically can be a tactician. Having a plan of action, carrying it out, and getting after it. And we wanted to kind of just combine that. We just wanted, when I say savage, I just wanted to make cool shit.
Yeah.
And I felt like we really felt like that name, was a good fit, and it resonated well, and it was something you could remember. Of course, we do get a lot of Savage tacticals, or they like to call it Savage Tactical or something, but Tacticians. But yeah, that's pretty much how it came around. Just rebranded.
Yeah, I'm much more likely to buy a shirt called Savage Tacticians than like Teddy Bear Tacticians, right? So definitely, I like the name change. What about the area? Why did you stay around the area? I mean, I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. Grew up in the coastal Carolinas. I love it here. I'll probably be buried around here. But I mean, you could have gone back to maybe some better beach real estate in Florida.
Yeah. Well, my parents retired in Virginia. My dad retired out of the Navy and stayed up there. And then my high school sweetheart, which was, we married and had a kid. She's from North Carolina, okay, so they stayed here, and I didn't want to move too far away from him. And I thought, I started dating a girl. I was like, hey, Wilmington seems like a nice town. But I've already been in North Carolina for so long that it felt like home. I moved here in '99, finished high school, and like I said, started some college, and then just went in the military. And I was here the entire time at Camp Lejeune. So it just made sense. This built more home, and I didn't want to be too far for my son.
I like it here, and definitely family's a good reason
Yeah.
to stay. Serious question about the Marine Corps, and then I'll ask you maybe a funnier question for our audience. You're a pretty successful business owner. Again, I was telling you and Scott before the podcast, I was on recruiting duty for 36 months and 2 weeks, and yes, I did count every day. And I'm just glad to see. I'm glad to work for my boss, a former infantry corporal. Glad to know you. I'm glad that you guys did well, because sometimes I felt a little too salesman-y, and we got young men and women that want to serve their country. If you bend the arm a little bit, contained choice is what they called us. So I'm really glad to see guys like you and my boss out there killing it. But what are some things that you learned in the Marine Corps, some values that help you out most in business today?
Oh, that's a tough one. Just because even before the Marine Corps, I was a bit of a hustler growing up. I grew up in a family where, we had lots of chores, and I mean, even as a young guy in middle school and high school, I was helping my dad frame walls, do plumbing, roof, put roof on the house, clearing land, and all that stuff. So that kind of work ethic kind of was passed on from my dad, to me, growing up doing all that. And as I got older, was old enough to actually have a job, I'd stock shelves at Food Lion, and then from summertime, 11 at night to 7 in the morning, then I would literally change over and walk over to McDonald's and work from 8 to like 1 in the afternoon, and then I would kind of go home and then rest and do it all again. And I had goals. I always had that Lamborghini picture on the wall from like the book fair when the elementary school, and I was, always doing push-ups and sit-ups in my room, and I was always cutting grass, anything I could to make a buck. And so, that stuff growing up was already kind of laid a solid foundation. So going into the Marine Corps, I think, already having that drive and that work ethic, I think the Marine Corps just helped reinforce that. And embrace and seeing all the different personalities out there, because the Marine Corps attracts some interesting characters. So I got the it's tough. That's a tough question, because I feel like my family and them kind of laid a lot of the groundwork for that, but in the Marine Corps just kind of helped reinforce it and help you deal with stress a bit better. I think that's
no, I totally agree. One of my last jobs in the Marine Corps, I had the privilege of serving on the division staff at a higher level job. And I got to talk to the division sergeant major a lot. Great guy. You can imagine 2nd Marine Division, 14,000 Marines that you're in charge of, the crazy stuff that you would hear. But we'd always come back. I'd be BSing with the sergeant major, like, how could a Marine do something that horrible? But we always came back to 13 weeks of boot camp don't change 18 years of raising. So credit to your parents for instilling those core I've said it too. I think I was raised similarly by military folks. I think I might not have been able to verbalize core values like honor, courage, commitment before I got into the Marine Corps, but I had them already. If that makes sense. I had questions about working hard and being honest and stuff with my dad when I was like a teeny kid, wondering why I was getting, accosted by my dad for being a criminal. If I cut a corner on the grass, right? And it wasn't exactly done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Marine Corps definitely helped me with patience, I would say. Obviously, you get in the Marine Corps, you got to learn to bite your tongue, and just roll with the punches. And I feel like that definitely helped me as I've gotten older and got out of the Marine Corps. I mean, even like being on combat patrols, I just had learned like, hey, some stuff is out of your control.
Yep.
And there's no reason to fret about it. I mean, you can't see the bullet coming. You can't see the mortar dropping. You just don't know. If it's your turn, it's your turn.
Yep.
And so I kind of took that and
whoops, we'll keep going. I thought it turned us off. I'm getting older. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. My wife's not here. I'm screwed. Keep going. I'm sorry.
no, but yeah, I mean, just being in those situations, I've learned that to have patience because it's some stuff's out of your control. And then I've just applied that, going forward and with life and business, some things are just going to be out of your control. And you just got to kind of sit back and again, like roll with the punches and adjust fire when it's time. So I think it's a combination. The Marine Corps didn't set me up fully for that mindset. I definitely think they helped reinforce and build on what my family already did.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great life lesson. I was struggling with a lot of those. Company commander, Marines get hurt, and you do your best to make sure it doesn't happen. But I verbalize it as you can't change the conditions of your operating environment. It's Iraq. It's July. It's hot. People are trying to shoot at you. You're not going to not go out and do a patrol because they're just going to get closer and it's going to get more dangerous. But yeah, definitely, I agree with you. Knowing what you can control, knowing what you can't control, and then focusing on what you can control. And I'm sure, well, your business is doing great. So I'm sure, I love the word discipline. It's often, I think, overly used. But yeah, definitely I could see how all those types of things, upbringing, the Marine Corps, help you run a really good, profitable business. Okay, so enough of the Marine Corps recruiting commercial. That was not the intent. But again, I like to talk, as I've started doing. I think this is my second one. I like talking with companies of like minds that have similar values, and it was fun listening to you and Scott talk. Let's talk about a funny story. What's one of your favorite funny, humorous stories from the Marine Corps?
Oh man,
And this is not a PG-13 podcast, so we can have some fun with it.
I've got a few, but I mean, the platoon on platoon, brawls were always some good times. I remember one time, I can't remember the Marine's name. He was one of our weapons guys. He was in my platoon. I think it was either McCarthy or Mott. I can't remember the name, but we were all, it was in a big brawl, platoon on platoon brawl going on. And, next thing you know, we hear that and we were on ship, the CO was walking through, the VEP CO, and it was like a light turned on and roaches just scattered, right? But in the middle of all that, one of our guys had been snatched up and was like basically hogtied up in the middle of the floor in the berthing area and was like left there. Everybody else jetted and he was kind of just left there with the CO walking through the berthing, and there's a Marine tied up on the ground right there. So, we got our ass chewed for that, and but that didn't stop us. It continued, but yeah, I mean, that was a pretty good memory to look back on.
And the nice thing about the Marine, I don't know how it ended, but I'm assuming nobody got court-martialed or in significant amounts of trouble.
No. I mean, we might have got a little haze from our platoon commander.
But only in the Marine Corps can you actually hog tie. That's probably legally a human rights violation or something, where you actually hog tie another person for fun. Then someone of importance comes by and they're like, on a Navy ship that has Marine tone, and they're like, God damn Marines. You guys, could you just stop, right? But that's, again,
that's not what's happening all the time. Though. I mean, it's a rite of passage, in the Marine Corps, and you hear a lot of people cry about haze and stuff. I mean, yeah, some stuff can go overboard, but I mean, I look back at it and then I think it's a rite of passage. I mean, I think it helped build character.
Yeah, good, clean fun.
Yeah,
nobody got hurt. Yeah. Nobody got bullied into suicidal ideation or something like that. Yeah, I get it. So about the brand a little bit. You talked about you wanted to make cool stuff, but I mean, there's got to be a little bit more to it than cool stuff, because I mean, they fit nice, they look good. Like, what else other than making your stuff's legitimately cool? But is there what else went into? You could have done a lot of things. You're a shooter. You like shooting. I mean, you could have taken your creative outlet and gone any direction. Is it what else besides just the cool factor got you into apparel?
I wish I had a very deep, touching story that a family member was dying from cancer and I needed to create something to raise as much money. But honestly, I was laying in Afghanistan and on the civilian side. And I was just like, man, what am I gonna do if things go away? And I'm just gonna start this company as like a backup, kind of like a little hobby thing to make money to provide for myself, my family. That's where it started. And since day one, though, I never wanted to create stuff that is, I'm a sheepdog or, just the over the top, I'm to a protector of the Constitution. So, I mean, all that's great. I love America, I love the Constitution and all that mess. But I feel like some of the companies over the years had gotten a bit corny and over the top with that to make a quick buck. I mean, even like current event stuff, I try to stay clear of that. I just want to make, like I said, cool stuff. I just want to make cool graphic tees that our community likes and can appreciate, and they want to wear those items. And then, the button ups and the swim shorts. I wanted to kind of have stuff that, again, that fits our community, but they can have fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's why I think this is a SSA one that we got out in Las Vegas, but those are shirts that my wife bought just because they got, again, they're not for nerds. They got an AK-47 and a revolver, right? You sport those things and people are like, oh, cool Hawaiian. Oh shit, that's badass, dude.
I've heard some stories like some guys have bought stuff and their wives, like, they've worn it a few times and they'll write a review and they'll be like, my wife, I've had this shirt for 3 weeks, or I've worn it so many times, and my wife is just now noticing that there's AK in there or something like that. Yeah, I just want to make fun stuff that's not a bro vet type. I mean, I know some companies have gotten that route. I mean, I just want to make a lifestyle brand.
Yeah.
People can enjoy it, stuff that even if you didn't serve in the military, there's plenty of guys out there that aren't military, aren't law enforcement, that probably know more of gear and tactics than I am. I mean, they lived and breathe that shit. And so this would be a brand for them. You don't have to be a vet. You don't have to be prior first responder or anything like that. If you like the military, you like the 2A, you like guns, you love tactical stuff, that's what my brand's about. We just want to make just cool shit and fun stuff. We've been getting into pants, and come from someone that had no experience in the fashion industry. It's still 10 years later and it's still a learning curve. And I look at customers' reviews still this day, first time orders. If you're a first time order, you get an email from me, and I see those. I respond to those. I don't respond to every one of them, but I try to get to responding to those as much as I can. I read the reviews and I take that and I look, okay, where are we dropping the ball?
Yeah.
How can this be improved? And those reviews don't fall on deaf ears. I look at that to how can we better ourselves. Yeah. So and it's not always a fast change. So it's something that takes time. It's just like, I was talking to your boss. You get a product, you try it, you think it's good, you send it out there, you get like hundreds of people wearing it, and they test it and they give it back, and I take that and move forward with it to see if we can make a better product. And then I'm constantly expanding the brand. So we started doing briefs not long ago. I want to make those are not I'm a contract sniper stuff. They're just fun for us on them. I just want to make
You do a lot of modeling too. Because on the briefs, there's one video you just did on Facebook where your cameraman's like, get comfortable. And I was like, what are they talking about? And you snap your fingers and you're in kit, like with underwear. Was it underwear?
Yeah. I'm on the range.
So that was that was pretty fun.
Yeah, my warehouse manager,
then you shot in underwear.
Yeah, he's a team player. And, I mean, obviously, people want to go up there and troll stuff, whatever, but he lets that shit roll off his back, has fun with it. And that's all we're there. We're here to do, like like my brand isn't I'm a badass brand. It's a, hey,
Yeah.
life's short, let's have fun with it. Let's wear shit that we're interested in, and let's have fun doing it.
I'm sold. Like life is life is a series of chapters or seasons, whatever you want to talk, however you want to describe it. Well, I got boys. I have 3 boys from 25, 23, and 17. So my wife, she's not overly controlling, but she picked these shirts out for a reason because I got a rep, right? And not like, I don't want to make it sound weird or anything. It's like a dad rep, right? My kids don't want to see me in dad clothes, right? So that's why she came, I like this.
He doesn't have the white balance on. So
No, I don't have I have on clouds because the Marine Corps jacked up my freaking back. And if I don't wear like orthopedic shoes, then I'll like throw my back out. But that's how I came across your brand. Is my wife, I just wanted like a party shirt, and I'm not doing like crazy. It's like block parties going over like lacrosse parties, end of season parties where you're having a beer or two, and I just wanted something cool that didn't show up in like my t-shirt tucked into my khaki pants with my way New Balance on, and that's how I came across the brand because it's fun.
yeah.
It's definitely fun.
Well, shout out to your wife for being awesome.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, man. I mean, we've really started expanding too on our swim shorts to match our button ups. That's something, again, that feedback that I saw, and so I really focused on adding that. So this
You
year,
got to match for your full side, right?
you got to match, man. You got to have that drip.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man. I mean, it's been a wild ride, but
And you're doing pants, shorts, underwear, t-shirts, button down, Hawaiian shirts. You said woobies. What else are you doing?
yeah, we got hats, stickers, patches, tumblers,
Tumbler.
banners. They are our newest ones. Yeah, and we actually just sent this out all our club members. So we have like Club Savage. You can sign up. You get a t-shirt and a matching sticker with that design every month, and you don't know what you're gonna get till it shows up. And those designs are not on the lineup, so only club members.
Oh, cool.
I mean, those designs could possibly make their way to the main lineup, but it'll be a while. And every once in a while, I like to throw in a little something extra. So like all our club members got that, for free with their club shirt and stuff like that. So.
Now, some of our friends, we obviously just did a podcast with OA Defense. They helped link us up, which, they're coming from
Those guys are right.
Philadelphia, linking the 2 Marines, and we must have had land nav problems when we came up because they helped us find each other. But can you talk a little bit about what you're doing for OA Defense? And I'm obviously repping a Scout Sniper Association shirt, maybe a little bit what you're doing, what they have to say.
Yeah, so Dave and Paul, there's some good guys, and then you had them up here recently. And,
Yeah, they just got their handguns in. You probably can't see them in the back, but we're going to get some holsters on the way.
This is easily equated, by the way. Super awesome. So they actually, was it last year? They came down and we did like a little range day video shooting them and stuff, and seriously impressed. What they built there is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think so.
But we did a collab tee for them, a gravity, and then we have a match and button up and swim shorts that will be dropping here in a little bit for them, a limited collab with those. And I say limited because it's pretty sweet. So I'm excited for that to get here and show that out. But yeah, you're wearing Scout Sniper. So we like to team up with other companies, and in charities and stuff like that, like-minded, and just work together. Something I like to work with other companies. I mean, everybody I was just having a talk with someone earlier this morning, and a lot of these companies, and they like to get up online and say, hey, at the end of the day, I just want to see us all win. But in reality, behind closed doors, that's not always true.
Yeah.
But for me, I want to work with as many people as I can. It makes sense. We're in the same lane, we're in the same vertical, and I rather us work together than butt heads and whatnot. And I just think working with Scout Snipers was pretty awesome. They came to me and we designed that shirt for them, and we listed some on our website. Everything we sold, we donated to them. And so doing things like that to kind of give back and help those guys, where they may be lacking, that's awesome. I enjoy doing stuff like that. So, and speaking of that, be on the lookout because I just talked to those guys today, and it looks like we're gonna be doing some silkies for them.
Oh, good.
As well. So
Yeah, they're great. Unfortunately, the program went away in the Marine Corps, but I was involved with the program with one of my last jobs, and they just did a really, really good job of coming up to like every graduation, taking care of the young Marines, just accomplish something. Probably, it's not the pomp and circumstance isn't as big as boot camp, but from a gut perspective, being a young lance corporal, making it through scout sniper instructor school, I just was very impressed with the SSA and everything that they did, from sort of cradle to grave. And now with the Marine Scout Sniper Heritage Foundation, which I'm on the board with, it's cradle to grave, from SSA while you're in, and then and now that Marine Scout Sniper Heritage Foundation is really starting to figure out when the MOS started and a bunch of details behind it. So I appreciate your support to those guys because I've done a lot of stuff with them downrange and know a lot of those guys, and they're just legit dudes watching out for younger folks that maybe has a financial problem here or there, and that's where a lot of their money goes, just to help out a young Marine in trouble, keep them successful, move in the right direction.
yeah, that's great because obviously when a lot of us get out of the Marine Corps, kind of left up
Yeah.
to your own, to figure things out, and sometimes some of these guys, that's all their world revolved around was in the military. So you can get out, kind of get lost, and it's kind of hard to find your way again after you've already built something. So having organizations like that to check up on you and see you doing all right and help you if you ever need it is awesome. A little fun fact is like back in the day when scout snipers used to be out at Stone Bay, I was like, man, I think I'm gonna sign up and be a scout sniper. And then I learned that you guys run everywhere. It doesn't matter what it is. Going to lunch, you're gonna go take a piss, you're trading, you walking, you're running, you're always running. And I said, nope, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
No, not a runner like that.
Yeah,
But
I thought when I first went up to Weapons Training Battalion Quantico, I was like, you know what? I'm not too old to go out in there and do some of that stuff. And then I started watching it, and I'm like, man, I'm too old to go do some of that stuff. And I just watched them running by. Like, good job, guys.
I know, man, I'm feeling it already. I mean, my joints and I've had 3 surgeries, from the Marine Corps, and I feel it all. I feel it every day. Like, I mean, the simplest thing, like you don't have the right pillow. I mean, I'm like, my body's aching for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And it's funny because I look back in the Marine Corps and I literally could sleep anywhere on anything.
Well, that's because you slept anywhere on anything. That's not why you have stopped. But I mean, you're looking good. Not to be weird or anything, but you're looking good. I mean, so you gotta be doing okay.
Wife's watching this?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe edit that out. Was that a little odd? Wait, no, I'm just kidding. But figure I had a rebound from the last one.
Whenever you're ready, you can start.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, so not creeping on you, but glad to see that you're doing well. You're the one that put yourself.
Is
You're
it
the
Sesh?
No, you're
This
the one.
is.
Oh, that's good, but you're the one that put yourself on your own ad. So I'm a consumer of the brand, and I happen to see you. But if you ever need a fat guy as a model, I put on some weight after I retired. So if you need a fat guy sporting Savage Tac, let me know.
Big is beautiful. We'll get you in there. Come on.
All sizes. Yeah, I have to go up to 2XL to hide my gut now, so I got that going for me. But wife still tells me she's in love with me, so I got that going. So a lot of cool designs. Can you talk to me a little bit? Two-part question. One, like, how do you come up with them? And then, do you have a favorite design or two that you like to talk about?
Designing stuff is a wild ride because something in my mind can start here, and when I get the first draft kind of done up, it can change 30 times before we finish it. Like a great example is our Embrace the Chaos tee. It's the guy on the back. It's got the smiley face. So originally I was like, you know what? I like Embrace the Chaos. I was like, I want to make a design based on that. And I was like, what am I going to do? I was like, what if I do a smiley face that he's kind of like melting and like he's trying to hold himself together. So I created that. And then I was like, no, that doesn't really fit the brand. It's missing, something's missing. So then I was like, I talked to my artist. And I was like, all right, let's draw a guy. And I grabbed my rifle and I'm standing this way. I'm like, stand like this, draw and put the smiley face on on the guy. So he draws it and does it. And I'm like, okay. I was like, still not there yet. And I was like, make a war-torn city behind him, you know. So he draws that up, and then I was like, all right, put Gucci flip-flops on him. And, you know, he puts Gucci flip-flops and this and that. I'm like, all right, let's put an A10 up there, drop, and make sure the bomb says F-bomb and this, that. And then so basically it went from just being a smiley face design to this whole scene of chaos going on, and he's just smiling and just embracing the chaos, you know. So designs like that can just it's a wild ride. And then of course one of probably our best selling design is Send It. And when I made that design, I literally was just like, I need to come up with a new design for their next drop.
Do you start off with like the name and then from the name you get to the artwork?
No, sometimes it can just be a quote that I like, or it could be, you know, just the design idea, and then I find a quote afterwards, maybe to go with it. Or sometimes I don't have a quote with it, but I could see something that might give me some inspiration. So I saw a shirt one time. It was a shirt or it was a poster or something. I can't remember. It was online, and there was like a monster, and it was like the freaks come out at night, right? And I was like, and I just saw that, and I was like, and it just played in my head. And then I was like, shit, I'm a create goons come out at night.
Okay.
And so it's cool. I did the moon with a face with nods and stuff, and then the goons come out, and like things like it could be anything that gives me some inspiration, or it could be a quote or something. It just kind of evolves from there. But when I made Send It, it was literally I'm gonna make a design because we need something. I need to drop something, and I made that, and I was like, this is kind of, you know, I didn't think it was gonna do well, and my God, we still can't keep it in stock. Since we've made that, I have seen so many other similar imitations to, you know, especially in the, you know, tactical vertical, like clothing stuff. Lots of stuff with shotguns have come up now since we've ran that design. It's been years now. But now we have swim shorts with it, stickers with patches and hats and all that stuff. I mean, it's just crazy how well that's done. But you just never know.
Yeah, when you're describing your design process, I think like Corporal Ullman hanging out with his squad and some nasty Hesco hooch, just sort of bullshitting about fun stuff. When I was company commander, I might date myself a little bit, but like Chuck Norris jokes were all the rave. Man, keep ourselves busy. We just walking on patrol for hours, and you're paying attention. You know, you're doing what you're supposed to, but you can't help it.
Yeah,
Just crack a Chuck Norris joke to one of the Marine walking next to you, and then before you know it, the patrol's over because you've been just bullshit.
oh man, I remember the Chuck Norris. No, when I wasn't really cracking. I mean, we were all cracking jokes, but
Yeah,
I remember
there's a time.
I wasn't like ever. I never saw myself here, so I wasn't like, and you know, if I could hold sketch and stuff out, do anything like that. I was like, honestly, I remember one time we were defense week, and we were out there in the bush for a while. We dug fight holes. I called my wife, and I was like, go to McDonald's and get 30 double cheeseburgers, like from the dollar menu. And she's like, what? I was like, just do it, okay? And then drive on the base. And so I'm like telling her, I'm like, hey, you're gonna go down here, take a left, go past the ASB, and then you're gonna take a right, and then just, you know, she's like, okay, whatever. And I'm sneaking out. It's defense week, so we got patrols going and I'm like sneaking out of the bush to meet my wife by the road so she can give me 30 double cheeseburgers, and I'm putting them in my day bag and send her on her way. And I sneak back in there, and I'm just passing out cheeseburgers to all my guys and stuff, whatever. That's the type of shit I was, doing.
Take care of the boys.
Yeah, take care of the boys, just having a good time, you know, making the best of it.
Yeah.
But
That's important because it'd be some pretty horrible times. Question, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but like I said, you're a normal guy. You're a good dude. You are very humble, and I appreciate that. But I mean, I look up to you. I think it's neat that I'm sitting here with a former Marine 0351 sergeant that's got an internationally renowned business. Again, I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you have any advice for I can't. I mean, I haven't been retired for a year. Maybe at some point I'm gonna like leave all that stuff behind, but maybe not even for a service member. But any young people coming up, how do they get where you are, or what recommendations do you have for maybe some of the folks that are just starting out in the audience, military, law enforcement, or not? Like, how do you become successful? They might not always be as successful as Scott Evans, owner founder of G Code, or Kevin Ullman, owner founder of Savage Tactics. But can you give some folks words of wisdom on how to meet? See, I mean, you definitely saw your dreams come true, I guess, is what it sounds like to me. How can you point people in that direction?
Yeah, I never imagined Savtech growing to what it has grown to and led to other opportunities for me. But it's been a day by day kind of journey. But advice, I would say, man, luckily for me, I had a job that I still paid my bills. I had some money left over, and I had a goal in mind that I needed to grow a backup plan. So I had my bills paid, had some money left over, and I would just slowly invest into bringing the ideas to reality. Um, and the reason I say that is so many people, have a business idea or whatnot. They throw everything into it right away. And I feel like, I'm sure this has worked for some people, but I feel like until you know what's going to work, you're going to you have to spend money to make money.
Yeah.
And if you don't have, your ducks in a row and take baby steps, you can crash and burn really quick. So my whole point in saying, I had my job and I was able to pay my bills and I was able to invest is, do that. If you have an idea, work on it on the side, water it a little bit each day, and then don't burn yourself out financially and mentally. Just work at it and dive in and learn everything you can about it. When I did Saptac, I started, okay, hey, I created the name and I worked on the logo, and then I was like, okay, I wanted to get everything lined up. And I honestly, Saptac or Vet Life at the time, was official business in September 2014. And I took a couple months prior to that and created designs, created everything. And as soon as I got back stateside, I made it official business with the state and everything. But then I just took all that time up till February to kind of just invest in the business on social media and grow the page. And before I even had any product, I just wanted people trying to find people that I know I'm going to build a community with and sell to, and just kind of build that up. And then as I kind of built that up, then I started, releasing the business and whatnot. So all in all, I would just say, again, baby steps, rewater it, don't go all in until you know absolutely for sure that what you've built can pay your bills. You can still support yourself if you are to leave your main work. But other than that, yeah, I mean, you have a dream, get after it. I mean, every motivational speaker, they can get up there and tell you, if you want it, get after it, and don't be scared and chase your dreams, all that stuff. But I mean, the reality is there's a lot of hurdles out there, and you can crash or burn real quick. But stay the course for sure and get after it, and just be careful with what you're doing so you don't, put yourself in debt and in financial ruins. Other than that, I would say I lost my train of thought there for a second.
You're doing great.
Um,
Financial ruin.
oh man, I'm on the spot.
That was
Cut this out. Whatever.
no, it was great. Only thing I was going to say is very, very similar to the way that our boss started this company. Our name is actually Edgeworks Manufacturing. He liked knives, started out making knife sheaves, and Kydex knife sheet transitioned pretty well into holsters. And again, I think a lot of similarities. Just again, our boss, make what you want to make. Good customer service.
You just remind me. I was going to say, once you do get up and go, in the other part would be, obviously listen to, customers to an extent, but when you're building a product, build what excites you.
Yeah.
And kind of try to tune a lot of stuff out and focus on what you think is going to be best. Something I learned early on after, spending lots of money, again, because growing a business and learning the industry, you're going to spend money and waste money. And hopefully you learned from doing that. If you haven't learned, then you're just going to set yourself up for failure down the road.
You waste the money again.
But when I would start creating stuff, I was like, man, this is cool. I'm going to make this. But then I would get people like, hey, this is awesome, but can you do this? Hey, can you also do this? Can you do this too? And this color and that? And I was like, oh my God, yeah, that's right. I should do that because I'm leaving all this money on the table. Look at all these people asking for this. In the grand scheme of things, all these people wasn't really a whole lot of people. Yeah. It was, and so I would create what I like, and then I would create other SKUs of it. And what I learned is the stuff that I originally thought was, my original idea did well, and all the extra stuff that I added to it, ones and twosies here and there. So I learned early on, I'm tying all this capital up on listening to everybody. So at that point in time, I just kind of was like, you know what, I'm going to do what I think is cool, what looks best. And from there, it helped me tremendously because one, I kept that capital in the bank account to go towards other projects and whatnot. And I didn't have all this stuff tied up on the shelves. But I mean, that's why you look at Savage Tac now, and a lot of our t-shirts are black. Every once in a while, I still get people that will be like, hey, yeah, I got to make some other shirt. If you want a different color shirt or something, we'll drop one every now and then, but black is what sells. Everybody wears black. Black loves it. The colors, the designs pop best on black and whatnot. And so that's what I've stuck to. And I've taken that and applied that forward going into other designs and the fit of certain things and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, it is interesting. And again, similarities between Savage Tacticians and G Code. I mean, in a lot of ways, people are buying, they're not buying necessarily you, but they're buying your ideas. You're the one that came up with it. And so you have sort of the market cornered on tactical, right? Cool tactical stuff. Our boss is similar. He wants it to look good, but also perform well. And there's certain things that he's just not gonna, like, I'll never be able to replace his artistic and his design ability or his just innate artistic ability. And that the company was started by him and is still strong because of him. And I'm sure Savage Tacticians is similar.
He's got a vision, and that's what's got him here. It's hard to find and bring other people on board that share the same vision. They may like your vision and they're all about it, but when it comes time to take in those ideas and put them on paper, it might not be the same. And it's really hard, and that's why I still wear a lot of hats, as we were talking about previously. I still wear a lot of hats because I have my vision of how things I want it to be and whatnot. And as much as I would love to like just hand certain jobs and responsibilities over to somebody, it just doesn't turn out how I visioned it. So I still have to go there and be a part of everything.
There's like a business book written in here somewhere. Yeah. Good to Great. I was thinking while you were thinking a lot about Good to Great. I don't read a lot of business books, but it's one probably should. My boss read it and liked it, but a lot of different similarities. Stick to what works. They call it the hedgehog concept, but stick to what works. Stick to what you got there, and then
certainly try.
Yeah.
Certainly try to branch out.
You got to be an innovator.
Yeah. Try new things, test the waters for sure. So I mean, all in all, if that's if what I said is resonates and someone could take that and apply it, awesome. Again, I'm like an idea guy. I'm a worker. I want to get out there and make things happen. But if that's something that can inspire and you can use it to help you do better, then great. But I'm no philosopher here.
Well, I own 0 businesses, so I like to talk to guys that have the cojones to do it on their own and are successful. And I think I learned a lot. I think folks can learn a lot too. As we close it down, I think probably everybody knows where to find your stuff, but can you remind folks on how they find the newest, coolest thing on a website, on the internet, the Google box, and or social media?
Yeah. Check us out at savtac.com, sav-tac.com. Go up there and check it out, and social media, Savage Tacticians, and also we're going to be working on some G Code stuff here soon, so be on the lookout. That we got some limited drop items that we're going to be putting together, so that's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, no, we're definitely excited, and I'm glad that you're here. No reason to vet-owned companies in Wilmington. shouldn't do stuff together. So we appreciate your time. And everybody, thanks for tuning into another Range 5 podcast with Greg Jones and Kevin Ullman of Savage Tacticians. Find us on the internet and buy a badass shirt from SavTac today. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.